Hey everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. So much to get into. Among the topics tonight, a great day of college football yesterday. Pitt gets pounced. Penn State, walk-off win. We'll also talk about anthem protests. The Pittsburgh Penguins involved in this on the same day. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Steelers' meltdown in Chicago. And here is your panel, left to right on your television screen. The newlywed, Andrew Fillipponi there. Congratulations, you and Amanda, from the Cook and Pony Show, now known as the Cook, Pony, and Amanda Show. She will have editorial content. In the middle, it's Jason Mackey, outstanding beat writer for the Pittsburgh Penguins for the Post-Gazette, and Tim Benz, Trib Live Radio and Steelers Radio Network. So let's get right into this one. We thought we saw the end of this kind of stuff last year when the Steelers went on a nice roll at the end of the season against teams on the road. But now they've gone back to what has become a trend, it looks like, losing to teams they should beat on the road. So, Andrew Fillipponi, what happened today? Was that the case? Yeah, it was. It's a rite of fall for the Steelers. They have to lose, almost by law. They have to lose a game that they should win on the road. Last year, take your pick, either Philadelphia or Miami were both embarrassing results. And I think there are a couple common denominators for me. The head coach, Mike Tomlin, and the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. For Ben, he is just not the same player away from Heinz Field. And for Mike Tomlin, as David DeCastro put it after the game today, the team came out flat, and I know there were a lot of extenuating circumstances, but it's happened too many times. And this is why the Steelers end up on the road in the playoffs. They have to go to places like Foxborough because they don't win games like the one they should have won today.
And Andrew mentioned that Miami game last year. Boy, did this game look like that game. On the road, in the heat. They got run all over against a team that was at the bottom of its existence. This team has only won now 4 games since the start of last year. I want to destroy a narrative that started to grow a little bit this week from those trying to defend the Steelers, retrospectively saying that in the past when they've lost these games, those just weren't very good Steeler teams either. So no wonder they lost to some of these bad teams. Come on. Please. One of those teams won a division. Another one went to the wild card and lost to Tim Tebow. 3 others were 500 or better and could have at least been a wild card if they didn't lose these kind of games. So Andrew's right. Not only has it cost them seeding in the past, it has cost them playoff berths and time spent in the playoffs because of what they've done in games like this. And I'm not so sure this will be the only one this year. I could see it happening again.
I'm going to pretend that Lawrence Timmons was somewhere. I mean, we probably don't know where, but puking his guts out over that game. That was pretty ugly. And the thing that killed me was them at the line of scrimmage, just getting dominated. We went into the season thinking this offensive line was going to be one of the best in the NFL. It hasn't happened yet. The defensive line, 2 pillars on the ends, that hasn't come together. Obviously, with Stephon Tuitt's injury, I get it. But a team running for that much and that well, I mean, I like Jordan Howard as a running back, but that was too much. They got manhandled.
Well, and Jason, you know, I'm going to continue to compare the Steelers to the Patriots because that is the team you have to get past. And by the way, they pulled one out today. If you're going to get to the Super Bowl, Bill Belichick, since Mike Tomlin has come into the league, when he is a touchdown favorite on the road, he is 27-2. Mike Tomlin is 10-7. That tells you everything you need to know about these 2 franchises and those 2 coaches. And guys, the Bears didn't even play well. The quarterback barely had 100 yards. They had that goofy Leon Lett play at the end of the first half. Throughout the course of the game, they committed 10 penalties. The Bears didn't play well. Glennon tried to throw an interception at the end of the game. They tried to fumble it at the end of the game. They tried to snap it away at the end of the game. The Bears were terrible. This was not a matter of the Bears winning the game. It was a matter of the Steelers losing it and failing to accept the Bears' gifts.
You know what, Tim? It's funny because guys like Ramon Foster have said, we're the Steelers. We're everybody's Super Bowl. When we go on the road, they see our 6 Lombardi trophies, and these bad teams play up to us because of what our franchise means and what it stands for. Well, that was not the case today. This was a classic play down to the competition.
All right, let's talk about the battles in the trenches. And Jason Mackey, when you look at this game, it was dominated by Chicago. You would not have thought that coming into this one for things Tim mentioned, but also the fact that last week, I mean, their top running back only had 56 yards for the year. He's had a bad shoulder, and yet he rips them apart. How do you explain being pushed around that much on both sides of the football, especially defensively, when they make that their bread and butter to stop people in the run game?
Yeah, and like Tim said, they have 1 wide receiver with the catch. They have it's not a multi-dimensional offense. They have very few, if any, weapons, except the running back. You would think you would gear up to stop him. I mean, part of it, like I was talking about, was the line of scrimmage, but the tackling was equally as bad. I don't even know where to place the most blame. How many times did you see a Steelers linebacker bounce off of a running back, or guys taking bad angles, or what the heck Artie Burns was doing? I don't know. It was awful, Pomp. I can't even pinpoint one thing.
I can't believe Shazier wound up with 11 tackles with as many as he missed. You know, he was active enough to get 11 tackles, but he also ran by guys a bunch of times as well. I know they got held a ton on those 3 runs in overtime.
Should have been called.
They should have been called, you're right. But I think the defense is harder to explain away than the offensive line of scrimmage, because the offensive line of scrimmage was missing 2 starters in Gilbert and Foster for parts, if not all, of the game.
I blame the time of possession in this game. You know, when you're asking your defense to stay on the field for as long as they had to stay out there at the end of the game, I don't think in sweltering heat you're going to get the kind of performance or output you want from that defense. So I think it's a symbiotic relationship. I actually blame the offensive struggles for what the defense did. The offense is supposed to be eons ahead of the defense at this point, and it's just not. So I think that's part of it. I also would look at this. You know, how about snap count? You're in sweltering heat. How about getting some fresh bodies onto the field? And I don't think the Steelers did enough of that today.
No, let's talk about down the field.
Would help, would they?
What's that?
Would fresh bodies even help?
I don't know.
Well, I know James Harrison can set the edge. That's one thing he can do even at 39 years old, and he barely played.
Right, and that's one thing Chris Oak on our after show said. He thought he should have played more because that's what he does better than anyone in that linebacking group. Interesting note. Let's talk about real quickly, guys, down the field. Situational football, Tim Benz. The Steelers had a lot of 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and they elected to go after bombs down the field. Are they falling in love with that play a little bit too much, or are they looking for pass interference all the time?
I think they're looking for pass interference. I thought they did that pretty well against the Minnesota Vikings, but this was a strange officiating crew. Like I said before, I think this became at least the 5th game this year in the National Football League where there's 17 or more penalties called, but they weren't calling holding and they weren't calling pass interference either, and they kept trying to pump the well. They got a couple, but there were blatant pass interference plays down the field that they weren't getting, and they just kept trying to get them.
I don't get why on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, you don't use Le'Veon Bell. Whether that's just give him the ball and let him find the hole or find the crack in the offensive line to get the extra yards, or to play action with him, use the weapon that you have. And for some reason, they just elected not to do that today.
You also have a decent tight end. Throw it to Jesse James. What's the big deal? And to your point, Andrew, why have we not established Le'Veon Bell in the passing game? I feel like you have a guy in Eli Rogers. I know I'm jumping around here a lot, but they have more than enough weapons to pick up 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Totally against throwing it downfield as much as they have. Take the sure thing.
We are due for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the other big topic of the day, and that is national anthem protests after what President Donald Trump tweeted out and verbally said last night. Did the Steelers do what they should have done? We'll get into that and more when we continue right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, KDKA-TV. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better. And by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.